Hi folks, continuation of the video that we started on market resource supply. We were caught in the middle of discussing two unique terms that we really need to know when we're analyzing market resource supply, those terms being economic rent and transfer earnings. Economic rent would be the portion of earnings that a resource fetches above its transfer earning level, and transfer earning level would be the amount that's got to be paid to a resource owner to get him to allocate his resource or her resource to another use. I use the case of a movie star making mostly economic rent because the second best thing that a movie star could do actually may be something like waiting tables. That's maybe what all they're qualified to do. The transfer earnings on waiting tables is really, really low. But if we compare that to what a movie star makes, which is millions higher, the difference between the two would be economic rent. That's what we're paying. We're paying for something that's in fixed supply, which is actually the definition of the word rent that we're using here. That brings me to my next point. There are two different meanings for the term rent in economics. The most common meaning refers to the payment for the use of something as distinguished from payment for ownership. And in this sense, we would purchase a house, but we'd rent an apartment. We would buy a car from Mercedes or BMW, but we would rent a car from Hertz or Avis. The second use of the term rent, the one that we're using here, is to mean payment for the use of something that is in fixed supply, that is perfectly inelastic supply. The total quantity of land is fixed, and therefore the payment for land is economic rent. There is one and only one Brad Pitt, so the payment for Brad Pitt's labor on a movie would be considered economic rent. Payment for something that is in fixed supply. Moving swiftly on and shifting subjects, no pun intended. We want to talk about the factors that shift resource supply. Mercifully, there are only three of them. They are taste changes, they are the changes in the number of suppliers, and they are the prices of other uses of the resources, changes of those kinds of things. So, for instance, if it becomes suddenly more prestigious to become a lawyer, the supply of people entering law schools will increase. The supply curve of lawyers will shift up or out to the right. This shift will occur because of a change in tastes, more prestige, not because of a change in the wage rate of attorneys. An increase in number of suppliers means that the supply curve shifts out to the right. For instance, the discovery of oil in a country that is not currently an oil producer would mean an increase in the global supply of oil. At each and every price, greater quantity of oil would be supplied. Another example, immigration increases the supply of labor. More producers of bulldozers, another example, will increase the supply of bulldozers. Finally, the supply curve of resource will shift if the price of related resources changes. If the wage rate of professionals in finance rises, economists like me and others may offer their services in the finance market. The supply curve of finance professionals will shift out. If the rental rate of land used for production of wheat rises, everything else held constant, land that is currently being used to produce alfalfa or any other grain will be switched over to wheat as quickly as possible, and the supply curve of land used in the production of wheat will shift out to the right. Recap then. Three important things here. Firms purchase resources in such a way as to maximize profits. Households sell their resources in order to maximize their utility. Second, transfer earnings. What are they? They are the portion of total earnings required to keep a resource in its current use, or the amount that needs to be paid to those earnings in order to get it to transfer to another use. Third thing, economic rent, is the amount of money that we pay for something that is in fixed supply. Finally, I guess we'll see you soon in the next lesson, which is really the exciting one, about how firms really decide what resources to purchase. We'll see you soon.